Digital currency, crypto, DeFi, it's the hottest craze of 2020 or the current decade. But the thing is it actually legitimate or is it purely speculative? If we look at a bunch or a lot of these previous explosions in technology, they've been well warranted, right? Things like the dot com era, the dot com bubble. Often a big tech explosion is either followed by or preceded by a huge bubble, right? Everyone in the 2000s, or at least right before the 2000s, believed hugely in the internet, right? They invested heavily into it and they made the mistake of over investing. And then what happened? The bubble burst and a lot of tech companies went bankrupt. But the thing is, that bubble was extremely important. For what? Well, for stabilizing the sort of playing ground. Nowadays, in 2023, 20 years later, we see that the tech space is, here to stay. And that bubble, we've far outgrown that bubble. Now, looking at that, we have to consider digital currencies. Is cryptocurrency similar? Is the growing hype forming a bubble that is simply going to burst and never surface again, or is it going to be a bubble that bursts and then grows exponentially and stabilizes? Now, cryptocurrency is a very interesting thing, right? First of all, starting with Bitcoin, it's a paper made by an anonymous author. That itself is already pretty suspicious. And there are more suspicions with it, right? If you think about what cryptocurrency or Bitcoin is typically used for. What is its main or primary use? It's on the black market. Because cryptocurrency is often untrackable in a good way because it's very secure in terms of privacy, it also means that it can't be tracked. So one of its pros is also one of its cons. And so criminals and those in the black market love using it because, well, the money can't be traced. And so it's used for a lot of crime and drugs and all these, I guess, negative things. But having said that, privacy is something that a lot of people enjoy when it comes to their currency. And that's because the current currency we use, which is fiat or cash, is controlled. It's centralized. It's controlled by your country's government. And again, that can be good and bad. When your country is good, your currency is stable, and you can have trust and faith that the government or the banks will help support you. And that's a great thing. But the bad thing is that when you have a bad government, that just all goes to crap, right? When you have a bad government that is corrupt, suddenly all the money that they're distributing, well, they're controlling it, right? So if they do choose to suddenly print more money, then your currencies are worthless. And so with no say or with none of your control or say or power, suddenly your money is made worthless. And that thought or that possibility of that happening means pushes a lot of people to alternative solutions. And digital currencies, cryptocurrency, DeFi is that main alternative shiny green object. But like most things, at the start of a new technology, it attracts a lot of scammers. And I think that's been a huge, or what's one of the huge setbacks to cryptocurrency is the number of scammers in the area, right? What else are you seeing Bitcoin used for? Gift card scams, huge ways of laundering money, and even with the more recent technology, NFTs, which I'm not sure I believe in. I believe in the technology of an NFT, but do I believe in what it was being sold as a form of art worth thousands, millions of dollars? Heck no. Personally, I think that was a fad that a lot of people jumped on to make a quick buck, selling promise to really nothing, and a lot of retail investors wanting to make large amounts of money. Um, Now, again, it's really hard, right? I think for cryptocurrency uh, to really take off, to really flourish, then we need to have a fine balance of people who are strong believers in it. And I mean really strong believers in it, not just those who are wanting to make money of it. So strong believers in it who want to support its use case and spread the technology amongst daily life. If I can't use cryptocurrency when I go to the supermarket or when I pay for petrol, then immediately it's less useful. And the second thing, and that needs to balance those who are obviously trying to make a quick buck or trying to sell this new technology. So that fine balance is really hard, right? And it being decentralized means that balance is really important. Because for these centralized currencies that that we are used to, like cash controlled by the government, well, you have faith and trust in that government. What you're really trusting is that the government is going to be stable and will help you. In a decentralized world, well, there's no body to go to. If your money is stolen, then well, it's stolen, right? At least if it's stolen, through a transaction account, you could contact the bank who could request or retrieve that money for you. But in a digital hardware wallet, no way. So, back to the original question: do digital currencies signal a new era in finance, or is it just a speculative bubble? It's really hard to say. Like most things, predictions. I mean, seeing things from the past isn't necessarily accurate for future predictions. Now, I'm hopeful that we can get to a technology, in payments or in finances that allows us to be more to be less susceptible to one point of failure, right? Because that's what fiat currently is. It's banking on the fact that the government or the state or the body controlling it is on your side. And that's a big bet. But the thing is, that big bet also pays a lot of rewards. So, again, it's going to be very interesting to see what the next few years holds in terms of the pros and cons each hold, right? Especially with the growing assumption or fear that a big recession is coming. Many people might see that as wanting to shift away from the government's controlled money. And meanwhile, Bitcoin is again back on the rise in start of 2024, late 2023, and it's going to be interesting to see whether that stays, whether that continues growing, or whether that's just a very temporary fad.